African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoy, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 12, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of mechanized, Ranger, airborne assault brigades, Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Varakino, Stepno, Unikovka, Pershi-Travnya, and Andriivka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of a mechanized brigade, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Volchansk, Malovo, and Sinelnikovo in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 175 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 5 cars, 3 field artillery guns, and 3 ammunition depots. Units of the West Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions, inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized and assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Osinovo, Kupiansk, Petropavlovka, Peskino, Borovskaya and Andriivka in the Kharkiv region, Karpovka, Kaladizi, and Shredny in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to up to 215 servicemen, a tank, 2 British-made Snatch armored combat vehicles, 13 cars, 3 artillery guns, including 2 produced by NATO countries. 6 electronic warfare stations and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group improved their position on the front line, inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, mountain assault, airmobile brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, a special purpose brigade Azov, and an assault brigade light of the National Police of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Serebryanka, Mayskoy, Seversk, Klebenbyk, Katerinovka, Sherbanovka, Konstantinovka, and Belaya Gora in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 265 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 6 cars, a field artillery gun, an electronic warfare station, as well as an ammunition depot and a supply depot. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position on the front line. They inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized, infantry, assault, airborne assault brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Krasny Lyman, Dimitrov, Moravka, Dakno, Suvarovo, Rodinsko, Udakno, Krasnoarmysk of the Donetsk People's Republic and Filia of the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 365 servicemen, 6 vehicles, 4 field artillery guns, and 2 electronic warfare stations. Units of the East Troop Group continued advancing deep into the enemy's defense, inflicting damage on personnel and equipment of mechanized, mountain assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Iskra, Kamysheva, Alexandrogorod of the Donetsk People's Republic, Ivanovka of the Dnipropetrovsk region, Levadno, Zelenygai, and Temirovka of the Zaporizhzhia region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost more than 270 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, 10 vehicles, and 6 artillery guns, including 2 produced by NATO countries. An electronic warfare station and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on formations of a mechanized brigade, a coastal defense brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Novoandrievka, Lukyanovskoy of the Zaporizhzhia region, Antonovka, Tokarevka, and Nikolskoy of the Kherson region. More than 125 Ukrainian servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, 21 vehicles, 3 field artillery guns, including 2 155mm M777 howitzers produced in the USA, 8 electronic warfare stations, as well as 2 ammunition depots, 2 supply depots, and a fuel and lubricant depot were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian armed forces troop groups inflicted damage on a Ukrainian military-industrial complex enterprise, workshops producing long-range unmanned aerial vehicles and their storage sites, ammunition depots, a training center for armed forces of Ukraine units, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 142 areas. Air defense means shot down 6 guided aerial bombs and 179 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 76,676 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,546 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,585 multiple launch rocket systems, 28,426 field artillery guns and mortars, 39,561 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.